And then when it didn't work out, the next thing they start to do is they start to stay in that because they see so much potential, but they never really got to properly vet the person that they're in a relationship with.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So, Takiyah, did you hear the question earlier?
Absolutely not.
Well, of course, you were going in and out. Yeah, so what are some of the traits or some of the toxic behavior that an individual exhibits when they are in relationships?
Well, I caught the end of it, which means I didn't hear everything that Javon said, so I may end up repeating some of the things that he said, but I'll probably just go a little bit deeper, maybe. First things first. On that question, some of the traits is, and I think I heard at the end of this, I heard Javon say something about control, right? And that's the number one is control and manipulation, right? Control and manipulation. We know that a toxic partner, they try to control and manipulate the partner's mental. They try to manipulate their partner's feelings, their actions, right? And this can manifest in a bunch of different ways, right? It's interesting to actually take a look at it and realize that their partner is actually doing these things, right? This is a part of becoming untraumatized, where in the book I explain these different behaviors and tactics that these individuals use to actually control and manipulate you. But once you're able to actually see, okay, this person is controlling me, okay, this person is manipulating me, like that's the opportunity for you to take your power back, you know. Another toxic trait in a relationship would be lack of respect, you know. And I don't know if Javon said anything about that, or if you said anything about that, Omar, but in healthy relationships, partners, they respect each other. You get what I mean? So, and part of respecting each other is respecting each other's boundaries, respecting each other's opinions, respecting each other's feelings, you know, things of that nature, right? Because what may happen is when there's lack of respect, one person may belittle the other partner's view, you know, and or dismiss the other partner's view. Now, I know in my case, in my prior relationship before the book Un-Traumatized, my partner would definitely and absolutely do that to me. He would want to tell me everything that was going on with him. He wanted to share the badness of his day and everything that was going on in his day. But then when it was something that happened for me, it was like, oh, you know, you got a good life. You didn't experience these things, and you know, which actually will bring me into the next one, which is actually jealousy and possessiveness. You know, but he would dismiss the things that he wouldn't only just do this to me. He used to do this to Javon as well, Dr. Love Jones. He would do this to whoever. It was like his opinion and his point of view was the only important point of view, and if you had your own point of view, he would find a way to come in and distract that point of view, right? To just, I don't know, distort it in some kind of way. And I don't think he was intentionally doing it. This was just his character. But I had to learn that. You know what I mean? Me being on this journey and being in a relationship for over 10 years, like I had to learn that. You know, I had to take note and witness the verbal abuse that was being used to try to manipulate me. The only great thing about it is that I was, for the most part, always aware of when it was happening, and those people around me would witness it happening. So at the same time, they could see the lack of respect that was being directed or projected at me, but they could also see that my behavior and my response was not buying into what the person was trying to do, you know. Another thing would be jealousy and possessiveness, as I just stated, right? And while it's natural to feel a little jealous at times, we get that, right? If you have a toxic partner, they can become excessively jealous to where they don't want you talking to people because they're afraid that somebody's going to take you away from them, or it could lead to accusations of infidelity. Like, you could be such an innocent person, like you ain't do nothing to nobody with nobody. You can be loyal as loyal comes, right? But a partner who's jealous and who's possessive will be like, just see somebody say hello to you and be like, oh, is that the person that you was dealing with? Oh, you must be talking to him, or you must be talking to her. And this goes on both sides, guys. I'm not here to point fingers point fingers at people, but what I do want to point fingers is the behavior. Okay, that's my intention, and my whole objective with this book, Untraumatized, is to help you identify the behavior so that you can become untraumatized. I think I heard Javon say something about gaslighting. Gaslighting is a form of emotional abuse where, as one partner manipulates the other into doubting their own mind and what they think and all of that stuff. They leave you confused, leave you anxious, leave you depressed, so many different things when it comes to gaslighting. And the last thing that I would probably share would be lack of empathy. A toxic trait is if you don't have empathy, and if your partner doesn't have empathy. Or let's not just make it seem like it's about your partner. Maybe you don't have empathy. Let's talk about you too, because we're not going to keep pointing at everybody else. I want everybody to make a U-turn. When you read this book, Untraumatized, this you was on purpose. So because everybody needs to be making a U-turn and pointing the finger back at themselves. You get what I mean? You need to be pointing back at you and look at your contributions too. Look at the things that you tolerated, right? But I guess I don't want to talk too much, because Omar may have another question and I might answer it in the midst of talking. So, if you have a partner that has lack of empathy, then we know that they might be dismissive, right? We know that as I just stated in the last one, right? They don't care about their partner's concerns. They don't empathize with the fact that, you're going through something right now. You had a bad day today. That's not important to them. And so I guess, I kind of leave it at that. Just remember that, you don't have to be controlled by these things. At the end of the day, you're not in control of what somebody else does. You're not in control of somebody else's toxic behavior, but you are responsible for, how you handle it and how you behave for yourself when these people are acting like that, and also making your exit.
Okay, so we're just going to have a few more questions, and then we're going to, stop the show for the night. So one of the things that I want to ask is, how do you release individuals in your life that's creating toxic things in your life? For example, if you're in a relationship and you have been with this person for a while, how do you free yourself from that?
Javon,
that's a really good question.
Okay, that is a great question. I would love to. I'd love to answer it.
People who are being toxic in your life. It can be your relationships. It can be friends. Yeah.
All right. Do y'all want me to go first?
All right. So, sure. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So, how do you release people with love, right? And that is a chapter in this book, right? How to actually release people with love to free yourself, because we all know that releasing people with love is all about you becoming liberated and you becoming free. It's not about, freeing the other person so they could go do what they want to do. That is ego all day. This is literally about you truly healing your soul and looking at the things that you can do to not hold a grudge and things of that nature. So let's just hop into the question, right? So that is a great question, as Javon said. And I can tell you firsthand that releasing people with love can be very challenging. Right? But it is important. It's an important part of the healing process. It's no doubt about that. I would say the first thing would be practicing forgiveness, right? Forgiveness is essential. And forgiveness does not mean that you condone somebody's behavior or you condone somebody's action. Hey guys, share this slide for me. It doesn't mean that you condone somebody's behavior, you condone their actions or whatever the case might be, or It's not even saying forget what they did. I'm not saying that either, right? It simply just means that you're letting go of anger, you're letting go of the resentment, you're letting go of the bitterness and things that you might be holding on to because of things that they have done, which are things that you can't control. You're not in control of what they have done, right? So forgiving someone can be a very powerful way to release someone with love. It's just forgive them. I mean, they are who they are. It is what it is. And, you know, I forgive you, but I have not forgotten the damage that was caused in the process, right? Bottom line, so you know not to be bothered, right? The next thing would be, I would say focusing on the good. And I know this can have its ways, but again, we're talking about releasing people with love, right? Because focusing on the good, you can focus on the good, but then sometimes the person has done what they have done that is bad outweighs the good, and so sometimes you can, you know, it can cloud your mind a little bit, right? So, but I'm still going to say, because we're talking about doing this with love, I would say to focus on the good instead of dwelling on the negative aspects of the person or the situation, right? Try to focus on the good, right? Remember that there were positive memories that you guys had together. There were great things that you guys had done together. There were important things that you guys have grown together, you know, things of that nature. So just any negative emotions that you might have around it or whatever that might be holding you back. Because remember that if you're focusing on the negative, what happens is you create more negative, right? So we know that if you keep focusing on all of the bad things that this person is doing or the not so great things that this person is doing, it's literally creating a situation for that person to continue to treat you that way, right? And that's a whole nother thing. That's going into manifestation and things of that nature, right? But let's go into the next thing, and then I'll give you guys one more. So the next thing would be setting boundaries, right? This is how you release people with love, right? Set your boundaries and set them straight, right? Sometimes releasing people, hey guys, sometimes releasing someone with love means setting boundaries, right? And also you got to remember, guys, that boundary isn't about you keeping them away. That boundary is literally being set because you're saying that I love myself enough, and me continuing to deal with you in this way or continuing to talk to you over and over and over again is actually taking me away from the things that I should be doing for myself. I can't continue to be so consumed with what you're thinking and how you're feeling or whatever. Like, I have to set boundaries because I love me more than continuing to entertain something that you're likely not going to change about yourself, right? No matter how much I talk to you blue in the face, your character is your character. You are who you are. You behave how you behave and things of that nature. So it's important to set boundaries. Now, we're not talking about just even boundaries with relationships. You guys know in the book, when we talk about boundaries, I talk about boundaries with friends, boundaries with family members, boundaries with co-workers, right? I don't just talk about just boundaries in your relationships, right? Boundaries with toxic parents and narcissistic parents, right? Narcissistic children, mothers and baby daddies and things like that. I'm just keeping it 100. You got to set boundaries, and this is especially important if the person is not only toxic, but if they're also abusive, right? I mean, if we go deeper, we got to remember that it is okay for you to prioritize your own well-being and your own happiness, okay? It is okay. So stop feeling like, you know, you feel like you can't take control of your life because you're going to hurt this person or whatever. If you set these boundaries, I made that mistake, y'all. I made that mistake. I don't want to hurt the other person. So you know what? I'm going to bend my boundaries. And I had to really set my boundaries. And when I stayed in my boundaries, of course, nobody's going to like my boundaries, especially knowing that I'm usually a happy-go-lucky, free person. So when Takiyah set boundaries, it's like, oh, she really serious because she's usually like this. But those boundaries had nothing to do with them. It had everything to do with what I wanted for myself, you know? And then the last thing that I can share with you guys Releasing somebody with love would be practicing self-care. You gotta care about yourself, right? Releasing somebody with love, it could be emotionally taxing on you. Let's be 100, right? So we know that it's important to take care of yourself. We know that during that process, or during that breakup, or during that healing process, right, you want to practice self-care activities and exercises such as meditation, tuning into yourself, maybe reading more, or doing activities and things that you used to do that you stopped doing because when you were with this person you felt hindered from being able to do those things. You understand what I mean? So I close out on that and saying that, remembering that, someone releasing somebody with love doesn't mean forgetting about them. It doesn't mean you just have to just wipe them off the face of the planet, because you probably won't be able to ever totally get rid of them, right? Or even pretending like they didn't hurt you. Don't do that. Don't pretend like you ain't hurt, like you didn't hurt me. I remember that for myself, of me not even pretending that it didn't hurt, but really having to be strong and understanding who I was dealing with, to where the things that were being done didn't hurt me, because it was like I understood the mental illness and the mental capacity of the person that I was dealing with. And a lot of you guys don't know that, so you tend to not take care of yourself after a breakup. You tend to not do your hair. You tend to not eat. You tend to fall on the floor or whatever. It's just over. It's the end of your life. It broke your heart. Let's keep it 100, guys. Nobody breaks your heart. They break your expectations. And I will end on that.
Okay. So I'm going to ask Dr. Jones, and then after that, I'm just going to, because we're now heading up with our time,
Share it,
so
y'all.
I'm just going to ask Dr. Jones, and then after that, let us know each of your platforms and where everybody can actually find you.
You're not talking to me, right? You're talking to
So
Javon?
what's the question again?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Well, I'm going to have to go back. How do you free yourself from being in toxic relationships with people that you know?
Okay. Breakdown. So I'm going to add one element. You develop this ideas of how you want. When you realize that this situation no longer works for who you got to get in line with what it is you. And the reason why is I can speak to myself, right? When I spent years with who I love, years trying to make this thing work, and this person did everything in the book. Not going to list them out. Everything in the book to tell me she's not the one. And guess what? Because I didn't grow my mindset, I was still trying to make her be the one.
Right.
And what ended up happening is I had to learn that person kept saying they're not it. Even though they wanted to be it, even though I wanted to be it. But wants and actions had to align. And if your wants and your desires don't align with your actions, then there's a disconnect. And when there's a disconnect, the first thing you gotta do is be reconnected with yourself. And for me, when I reconnected with myself, I gained a shift in mindset. And when I realized now I can sit here and hold someone to a standard, and when they're not willing to reach that standard, it's easy to make that decision to walk away. It's hard to make the decision right now because you're disconnected. So you're so connected to an idea that's not yours.
Right.
I believe that no longer works for who you are right now, that though you have this awareness and knowing of yourself and what you want to do, your behavior is still connected to the old version of you that's still in that situation, that idea of a relationship. So the best way to get people to move out to life is to grow yourself and raise your standards. as Takiyah said, set boundaries. All these different things you have to raise for yourself, so that when you can clearly see that the person that you're trying to make it work with can no longer reach that standard, it is a very easy decision to walk away. Because at that moment, you set a new standard with you who are not in alignment of that. It's easy to tell them, no matter how much you love and care.
Well, thanks. Great summary. Well, actually coming on here tonight, we have one more person that's actually missing for tonight. She was actually going to be on here. So right now, I would like to just have each of you just let everybody know where they can actually find you on any social media platform that you have.
Go ahead,
all right. For me, you can find me at I am Dr. Love Jones. I am _ Dr. Love Jones. You can find me on all platforms: TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and you can just find me Javon Dr. Love Jones, which is this right here. This is the spelling. And this is my book right here, Level Up, How to Start Your Best Life Now. That's available on Amazon. Also, you can go to my website, Level Up, How to Start Living Your Best Life, or go to levelupbestlife.com and get your copy.
Okay, Takiyah?
Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah, somebody was trying to call me on Facebook. I said, people is so rude. Like, and y'all see me. But anyway. What was the question? It was, where can you find me? That was the question, right? Can you hear me, y'all?
Yeah, where they can find you on social media.
Alright, well, y'all know my answer. Google me, baby. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Hey, Lorraine. Hey, Mike. Hey, Fred. Hey, Jalil. Hey, everybody. Hey, Takiyah. Go through the list. All right. Where you can find me? Google me, baby. Google me. All right. Takiyah Diamond. You can find me on all social platforms. Takiyah Diamond. Or it may be Takiyah TK Diamond. All right. But more importantly, what I want to tell you, not only is where you can find me, that's great, but where you can find this book, right? More importantly, where can you find my guide, Un-traumatized, Reclaiming Your Power, Breaking the Chains to Healing, Self-Discovery and Empowerment. It is available now on Amazon.com. In fact, at the moment, Amazon never changed my price back, so it's still 24% off or whatever they got going on. I don't know. Last time I looked, it looked like it changed to 15% off. So whatever the price is on Amazon, that's what the price is. If you're in the New Jersey area, then you can connect with me and you can actually purchase your book from me directly. Up until the 18th of December. All right. So up until the 18th of December, if you are in New Jersey and you would like for me to sign your book and you would like to meet me and get a copy of the book, then inbox me. Let me know, and we will make arrangements for us to meet and get your book signed. Okay. And listen. I mean, that's all I got to say for now. I believe that healing from trauma, at the end of the day, guys, it is a choice. We have to make a decision. And not only that, it is a journey that literally, it requires patience. Becoming un-traumatized requires self-love. It requires the willingness to literally let go of the past. And that is what this book is going to do for you.
Okay, thank you. And everybody, board certified mental health coach. You can find me on Agape Love Network, Omar Lyles, the mental health coach, on YouTube. You can also check out our website at www.agapelovenetwork.net. We also have a group for coaches and clinicians on our website for those or people who are licensed clinical psychologists, counselors, and etc. And so we share newsletters, we share blogs, and other things that you can be a part of on that particular platform. All right. And if you want to, you can check out Agape Love Network magazine. Just go to the site and you can purchase a magazine as well. And thank you for each and every single one of you. And actually, the guests that we have on here tonight, Takiyah and Dr. Jones, for actually coming here on here tonight. And please go out and get her book. Please go out and get her book Untraumatized.
Yes, yes,
you can find it based on the platforms that she has provided for you. And just thank you so very much. And we'll see each other again.
Wait, before we go,
all right.
Hold on, Omar. Omar, can you hear me? Before we go, I wanna leave some closing just some closing points here, guys. Is to remember that even if you have been traumatized, I know I'm looking at you guys live over here and looking at you guys live over here. Even if you have been traumatized, the first thing I want to leave you guys, I'm going to leave you guys with just a couple of really important points before I get off of here. All right. First and foremost, like I said before, remember that healing is a process. All right. It's not something that happens overnight. Be kind to yourself. Okay, be kind to yourself. Understand that, you know, it's important for you to treat yourself with the same kind of love that you would show to a friend that has been traumatized, that has been going through some things. Treat yourself that way. It's okay to treat yourself, you know, good, even though you may have experienced some really rough things. It's also important for you to seek support if you need it, just like Omar said, right? That's important, that, you know, and that could come in the form of therapy. It could be a support group. It could be you coaching with me. It could be you purchasing my book and literally going through the process, because this book is not only just talking to you about trauma, but it's also taking you through the process of how to heal the trauma. Now, Omar, I saw that people actually had questions on the side, and I noticed that throughout the interview you didn't pull up some of the things that they were saying. So would you like to do the Q&A and answer whatever questions that they have as well before we go? And finally, I just want to remind you guys that, you know, healing is possible. No matter how difficult your situation might have been, there's always hope for a brighter tomorrow, all right? There's always hope that you can take things one day at a time and you can make things better. And remember that you have the strength, you have the resilience, guys. You have it. It's already in you. It's just a matter of you activating it. It's just a matter of you believing in yourself and doing what it takes to overcome any obstacle that is thrown your way, okay? And I hope that the words that I'm giving to you right now, that these words of encouragement, I hope that they inspire you, guys, and I hope it inspires you to begin your journey to becoming untraumatized, your journey to healing. And remember, guys, again, I can't force it enough. Seek support when you need it, okay? Remember to be kind to yourself and never give up on the possibility of a better tomorrow. Thank you.
Okay. Well, we'll have time to actually do at least one or two questions, and then after that, you know, we can. Let me see.
So maybe you want to just bring the comments on the screen, because I see that Sincerely Dejeen.
I know she's mentioned having a question. But
it's Sincerely Dejeen. She just pretty much mentioned that she had a question.
I love that. So just to bring up some of the comments that I can see here from my side.
That was it.
You found it? That was it. I think that Sincerely Dejeen, I hope I'm saying your name right. I want to thank you for being here with us tonight, you know, and just taking the time out to interact with us. That's very important. And you know, you're right. You said that people fall for fantasy and not reality, and that's very true. People do fall for fantasy and not reality. It's so much easier to do that, right?
So I think
Your thing is breaking up, Javon.
Question that pops up great at moments past.
Hey y'all. I'm sorry, what you say, Javon? Omar, can you hear me? Can y'all hear? Well, guys, I'm not really sure what's happening on the other side of things, but Ravon, I want to share your comment. You said that everyone deserves to be happy and that we are all humans. We're frustrated because of breakups, and then you cause this type of attack to happen in your life. It brings back your brings back your lover and help solve broken marriages. Life is too short to be unhappy. Think about that. Yes. So, guys, I'm gonna hop off of the big platform because I'm not sure what's happening. And I hope that I have helped you guys tonight clear up some questions. Hey, Richard. Hey, Jackie. Good evening, everybody. Hey, y'all. Let me know if for those of you who have already began to read the book Un-Traumatized, let me know what you are getting out of it. Let me know your takeaways. Let me know how it's working out for you. Are you going through your journal prompts? Are you doing the process? And I want to know. I want to know more. All right. So, guys, listen. Go out right now to Amazon.com or hit me up if you're in New Jersey to get your copy of my book, Un-Traumatized, Reclaiming Your Power. Okay? It is breaking the chains to healing, self-discovery, and empowerment. And just to give you guys a little information about some of the chapters that are in the book. In this book, I talk about, number one, which you guys heard us talk about at the beginning of the interview, how you are not your trauma, right? Chapter number 2 is trauma bonding and toxic love, right? You know, how do you end up being trauma bonded? You know, sometimes you don't even know that you're trauma bonding, okay? So in my book, I will explain all of that to you. Chapter 3, Stop Playing Games with My Heart, is really breaking down personality disorders and the different tactics that the people who have these disorders use to manipulate you and control you. But once you can identify with these traits and you can notice the behaviors, then you can change your own behavior and plan to make your exit. Number 4 would be, chapter 4 is family and childhood trauma. Chapter 5 is understanding the yearning to return to a toxic relationship. Like, why do you want to go back, right? Sometimes you have to ask yourself, why do I want to go back to this person? I know that this person is no good for me. I know this person is all wrong for me. So what is it that's making you feel like you just want to go back? And we talked about that in the interview, right? So in the book, of course, it's an opportunity to go a little deeper, okay? Chapter number 6 is about soul ties and trauma, you know, because it's a lot of things that you don't know, that you have soul ties to people, especially when you become intimate with people, and that's a lot of times why it's harder to break free from somebody that you were with in your past, right? Chapter 7, releasing people with love, which we just talked about. Are you the toxic one? Let's talk about you. What is your part? All right, what part are you playing in the toxicity? All right. Chapter 9, feeling some kind of way, emotional intelligence, tolerance, and maturity. So I break down these 3 things in chapter 9. You feeling some kind of way, but what's the difference between having emotional intelligence and actually tolerating, you know, someone's behavior, right? It goes deep, all right? And then we also talk about boundaries, you know, keeping that trauma at bay. Chapter 11 is shifting your perspective, because at the end of the day, you have to change the way that you think about your trauma in order for the way that you handle your trauma, or you manage the triggers that'll come from the trauma, in order for you to know how to handle those, right? So you got to change your perspective about the trauma in order for you to act differently about it, right? Otherwise, you may respond from a place of being bitter and angry and hateful and vengeful, which you likely have the right to feel, you know what I mean? I can't stop you in that, but, you know, just saying. Chapter 13 is developing empathy for others and yourself, right? Because, you know, you gotta have some empathy once you understand the condition, the mental condition that a lot of humanity is in nowadays. Once you understand that, it's like, you know, so different. All right. So, the next one is reclaiming your power and moving on. Yes. Reclaiming your power and moving on. And then we have self-discovery, which we're going to go through in the book. We talk about how to rediscover yourself, what steps you can take to actually, reinvent yourself. You know, how do you discover on a deeper level who you are, and what choices do you make to shift who you are from who you are being right now into being a healed version of yourself. Okay. And then well, the last thing would be is moving on, but I said that already. All right, self-discovery and moving on. And then the last thing would be just the closing of the book. All right, that's the end of the book at that point, where I am giving you some closing tips, tools, and remarks and jewels and gems that you might need to help you succeed to get through the trauma. So again, guys, don't go through this alone. Go ahead and purchase your copy of the book. If you would actually like to coach with me, you can book a coaching session with me on my website at TakiyahDiamond.com. I do suggest that you actually contact me first, like inbox me something first, because let me make sure that I am the person to assist you. I move deeply and very strongly on connection, all right? So if I don't feel connected to your energy or something like that, I will probably still help you as much as I can, but I will probably redirect you to someone who might be on, sometimes people are on a very low vibration and I'm on a much higher vibration. So, and that's not to single myself out or say that I'm better than anybody or anything like that. It's just that in order to work with me, you gotta already be at a certain spot of willingness and also at a certain spot of ready to be, you know, to be untraumatized, ready to change your story. You can't be wanting to still be stuck in the old story. You gotta be like, look, I'm ready to be done with this. Like, I don't work with people who want to stay in victimhood, because I'm not a victim and I'm not about to let you be one. I may have experienced some things that could have victimized me, or that the world may see as victimized me, but for me, I feel like the things that I went through actually victorized me. It qualified me for the victory that I'm receiving right now in this moment. So guys, I'm not going to keep you guys much longer. I love you and I thank you all so much for tuning in. Sorry for us starting so late and the delay and all of that other wonderful stuff. And I know on the other thing, my camera is extremely ashy looking. This is a brand new computer, so I never used the camera, and I thought that the camera would have been good with the cost that how much money the computer cost me. So I'm gonna have to buy a separate camera for this computer for when I'm in New Jersey. All right. So again, guys, if you want to meet up with me personally to get your book, inbox me and I will sign your copy and I will tell you where to meet me, because I'll have everybody come and meet me at the same spot. All right. All right, guys. So I'm out of here. Thank you again. Go get your copy of Untraumatized, Reclaiming Your Power, right? Available right now. And if you've already begun reading this book, please, please, please begin revealing to me your breakthrough. Start taking pictures of pages that make sense to you. Guys, I need everybody and their mama to have a copy of this book. And I know that I can't save the world, but my intention is to save as many people who want to be saved. Have a blessed evening.